Cancel.
Squeezy.
Mark Driscoll tries to justify how dare you sermon, but facts don't match testimony of others, from the Royce Report. Disgraced former Mars Hill pastor Mark Driscoll has posted a video attempting to justify his infamous sermon from 15 years ago in which he screams, "How dare you!" I think we might need to put the Midwest emo on. But like other explanations Driscoll has given, the facts don't match the recollections of former staff from the now shuttered Seattle megachurch. Driscoll resigned from Mars Hill in 2014 after an internal investigation at the church found Driscoll guilty of arrogance and a quick temper and leading in domineering manner. He then moved to Scottsdale, Arizona and launched the Trinity Church, where some former staff have accused him of cult-like actions like mandated loyalty and 24/7 surveillance of members. Driscoll preached his infamous sermon entitled Marriage and Men at Mars Hill in 2009. It has been used by critics to highlight what they say is Driscoll's angry and abusive leadership. A former Mars Hill member told Mike Cosper, host of the extremely popular podcast The Rise and Fall of Mars Hill, that the sermon typified Driscoll's core message. That message was, "You suck, do better, do like me," Cosper recalls. Clips from that sermon have gone viral on social media. Driscoll screaming, "How dare you!" was also mixed into song Sticks and Stones by King's Kaleidoscope and featured in the signature open of the Rise and Fall podcast. The producer of the podcast eventually removed Driscoll's soundbite from the open in request of Chad Gardner, who wrote Sticks and Stones. But in a video posted last Sunday, Driscoll claimed that his anger in the sermon was justified, and to his critics and enemies that have used it, Driscoll says, "Shame on you." According to Driscoll's recent video, the infamous sermon came a few years after his wife Grace had revealed to him that she had been sexually assaulted before the couple had met. Driscoll said the news wrecked him. Yet as Grace began to tell her story in the church, more women felt safe to come forward with their stories of abuse, Driscoll said. And the thought of men doing these things do not to daughters but God, the Father's daughters, it just made me furious, he added. Driscoll said on the day he gave the sermon, women were coming up to him between services sharing their abuse stories with him, and by the end of the day, I was completely emotionally devastated and angry and furious at all the damage done to women, starting with my wife. Okay. Here's the thing about the whole Mark Driscoll thing. Like, he is not a good person. He is definitely cult leader, definitely has cult leader status written all over him. But the thing is, with that sermon, like, the talking points, like, I kind of agree with him, I've listened to it, I kind of agree with him, like, how dare you do this to women, God's children, how dare you do that, I gotta say, I kind of agree with him. If just because you're a cult leader doesn't mean there's things I can't agree with. I agree with him, like, and it's especially in, like, a church setting, though. I like the idea that you're like, men shouldn't abuse women like that, And I have to imagine he was very fired up because it was his wife, and, it's one of those things he's known for a while, and, people keep stuff like that a secret, or they try to block it out of their memory, and eventually it comes back one day. That shit always comes back one day. And I gotta tell you, like, I agree with him. Churches need to do better, and Mike Bickle, maybe this is the opposite end of the cult leader spectrum. Mark Driscoll and Mike Bickle. Mike Bickle is for abusing women. In fact, he loves doing it. But Driscoll's like, how fucking dare you do that to God's children? And they're both equally bad, though. But the thing, I think, what really came out of that sermon is showing, like, his anger and, like, fury and, like, how probably he treats other people. And people are like, yeah, I work with him. He works. I know one of the guys in Emory and on the Bad Christian podcast, I know he used to be, like, a prominent member at one of the Mars Hill branches or whatever. So I think he knows Mark Driscoll and does not have a lot of good things to say about that man. The sermon really just, like, uncovered his arrogance and quick temper, and as these say, domineering manner, and he definitely has that cult leader mentality. But I don't know, I agree with that sermon. And, I like how he just, like, decided after he got kicked out of Mars Hill. And I used to think Mars Hill was kind of cool because I think the singer Dustin Kensrue. So I don't know if I said that last name right, of Thrice. He used to be like the worship pastor there. I thought that was like the coolest shit ever. But and then that all fell apart. I don't think they work together anymore. I just like he moved to Scottsdale and he was just like, I can turn the cult shit up to 1,000 because I don't know, there is something about like living in a warmer climate that makes people act a lot dumber. I don't know what it is. Like you hear like stories from Florida, you always hear dumbass stories from Arizona, New Mexico, and like Southern California. You hear a lot of things. There has to be something about warm weather. Because I really do think there is something about like the weather that makes you, or there is something about like your area, your climate or whatever that makes you think and behave differently. Like when I came back to Missouri, like something in me was like, I want to listen to like all the pop punk stuff that I used to listen to. Again, all that angst and edgy stuff. And all that stuff is like guys from the Midwest or small towns who are like, fuck this place fucking sucks. And I'm going to die here and I don't want to, that, and like stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I feel it now. But, we got to say, Mark Driscoll, you're a cult leader. Like, what's he doing nowadays? Nowadays, he's always in Arizona, and they're like 24/7 surveillance and mandated loyalty. Isn't loyalty one of those things you earn from someone, not request from them? Like, I know, like, if you start working with someone, like, one of the big things I would, and I don't know if that's loyalty is good to an extent, like, honestly, like, you want people who are loyal to you, but I think it's kind of like a two-way street, with loyalty, like, loyalty to you, loyalty to me. Like, we work together. It's not like you need to have loyalty to me. I don't give a shit if I have loyalty to you. It's stuff like that. I'm like, no, but loyalty's not that bad. I don't hate that. It's just like earned loyalty for each other, and like you say, let's have some loyalty with each other, and like, but yeah, the 24/7 surveillance is, that's fucking cult. That's cult. Like, if your church is requiring 24/7 surveillance on your life, you are in a cult. And what I want to tell you is, and that's weird, and especially if you're in a cult and if you have a hard time leaving, because like when I decided to leave Christianity, I did not have that hard of a time. I still get asked, people want to ask me to play at their church for free, but I'm like, no. Sorry about the clicks. Because, one, it's not paid. And so it's like, well, this means I'm volunteering my own time. And two, I don't agree with a lot of the messages, though. But if they pay me, I think I'll be fine with it. But I think I've talked enough shit. That's not... I've been talking too much shit. I don't think that's going to happen. And two of my guitars have Protect Trans Kids stickers on them. So, not something... Churches don't like people who are not white conservatives. So, that's probably a deal breaker for a lot of churches. But yeah, I don't know. If you want me to play there, tell me the money. Tell me the money first, and then I'll consider it. I don't even care if the guys suck. If you pay me, it's like, money's money. I'll play. It's kind of like, it's like being a plumber. You could be the best plumber ever, but like sometimes you're gonna have to work on. Pardon the pun here, but sometimes you have to work on shitty toilets, and stuff like that. So I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, Mark Driscoll, could you do better, please? Please and thank you, because I agree with your sermon. I just think you probably need some therapy. I think therapy will probably help you out there in ways to deal with that shit, and I think you can keep your beliefs. You can go to therapy and keep your beliefs. I'm just letting you guys know that. If your church is like, no, don't go to therapy, then yeah, that's also a cult too, because they're trying to control your mind and how you think. That's the way it is. Thank you for watching this clip.